Dimmoth, that's a good question, and we're creating depth across all departments now. You know, when I look at our fast bowling stocks, I've got a clear idea of where our bowlers are, how they fit in. When I look at our spin bowling stocks, exactly the same, albeit that whether it's Test cricket, 50 over cricket, or 2020 cricket, we just have to get that little bit of consistency and that same depth into our batting. And for numerous reasons, we've never seemed to put our best batting lineup out there. You know, we be that through injury or suspensions now to three of our key players. So it's been about creating depth for me, but also trying to be consistent, you know, so giving guys clear roles, but then allowing them to go out and play with freedom. And I think we saw a really good example of that in Charith, you know, the other night, Charith Sri Lanka, who in game one played nicely for us, but his strike rate was probably just a little bit too low. We had a good review. We had a good chat about it. I thought he needed to sweep just a little bit earlier, and bang, he went out there in the next innings and played incredibly well. So the growth I've seen in these players has been fantastic, and the growth comes from giving them confidence and giving them that consistency that they're going to play. And I think we'll see the rewards of that in the future for sure. It's been so great to see him bounce back. You know, so since he's come back and since he's met the requirements, his commitment and his standards have been nothing short of excellent. And I think that's now reflected in his batting. I also want to make mention of Bhanuka Rajapaksa last night, who's come back. He's got his skin folds down to 78. And he came back and played an innings last night that was exceptional. Both Bhanuka and Ivishka, you were guys that sort of bore the brunt of it. They missed out on tours, but it was for their own good, and hopefully we see the rewards of that game forward. So Ivishka's been outstanding. When Ivishka plays well, we generally get enough runs, and then it was really nice to see Bhanuka go as well last night. So I couldn't be happier that those guys have come back with good, positive attitude and realize that the standards we're setting here is to make them the best players they can be, and hopefully they get the rewards of that down the line. Yeah, I'm very hopeful that we will have one or two available. You know, 50 overs. It was a slight. I don't know the medical terminology, but he was battling to running in a straight line for him was okay. Going side to side was probably a little bit tough. For him. So over 50 overs, that was just going to be too long. But I'm confident that we'll get him through 20 overs. And then we'll have about 2 to 3 weeks off before we start preparing for South Africa. So that is a good time then for him to rehab that injury. So yes, I'm hopeful that we'll have one or two out there tomorrow. Oh, look, I think very, very firmly, and one of the forms that we've battled for consistency in, and we've battled to find that sort of winning formula is 2020 cricket. And myself and the selectors we're very clear that we're going to try some players out over the next 3 games. Have a look at them so that when we go into the South African series, we'll have that series plus another 2 months of just working with the 17 or 18 players that we're going to take to the World Cup. So this is the last opportunity for guys to really stake a claim, and then we'll look. Going forward over the next couple of months, we'll go with the players that we want to take to the World Cup. I thought his innings yesterday was very, very good. He came in, he dominated from the word go. He's got incredible hands. He gets his hands through the ball at a speed that I haven't seen from too many batsmen going for, in my time. So he's got so much upside, Bhanuka. So to see him come out last night and play the way he did, plus I know all the work that he's put in, made me really happy. So we've clearly had our differences, but the differences I had with him were totally for his own good and always for his own good. So So to see him come out, perform last night was a validation of all the hard work that he's put in to get himself into it back into the team. So I couldn't be more happier. And when he plays like he plays last night, he becomes a genuine match winner for us, which is exactly what we're looking for. I look at. I made special note of him in the change room last night in our sort of wrap up, because he came into our side very much on the sort of outskirts. But every time I looked out of my window at Old Trafford, he was running around the ground. He was doing work on his own. He had Grant Flower with him. They were doing range hitting. They were doing extra work outside of the set practice sessions. He was working with Chaminda Vaas, going through his action. The amount of work that he put in to get an opportunity and then to take his opportunity has really been it's been a motivation to a lot of other guys in our squad. And I made that point to the guys last night, because the work that he's put in has been astronomical, and he's become now a very, very integral part of our white ball team, which is testimony to the work he's put in, plus his commitment to the cause and determination to get better. So I'm really happy. I see him in the role. I see him as our second or second, third, or fourth seamer, depending on the combinations we play, but also a finisher with the bat, and he's done that exceptionally well. The other thing he does brilliantly is he's outstanding in the field. So he's a 3-in-1 cricketer, and I only see him going from strength to strength. No, look, the past plans. When I came in, it was about creating consistency, and that was about our test team. So I'm really comfortable now that our test team is in the place it needs to be. The test team's wonderfully led by Dimuth. He's a very, very good captain. In that format, we have some incredible senior players there. You got the likes of Angelo, who's a very, very good player still. Saranga Lakmal, Dinesh Chandimal, those type of guys form the backbone of our test side. Our one-day cricket, our white ball cricket was what we were struggling with. And our white ball cricket was going nowhere. We were ranked 8 or 9 in the world, and we needed some reform and change with that. We needed to try and rebuild a team. We needed to look at a team that we could take forward all the way to the 2003 World Cup, and have it side ready at that point in time. So that was where we were going with it, and that's why we had that change, was to bring some young, fresh faces in, see what they can do, but also to give them the opportunity to perform. And I think we're getting there. We've still got a hell of a long way to go, guys. And if the win last night was great, and we got very close the game before. And that just shows this continual improvement. But we've still got a long way to go. I said that to the players last night. We know we're near where we need to be yet, but the improvements and the journey is getting more and more exciting. So I couldn't be more happier with our progress. But I'm also very realistic to know still where we stand and how much work it's going to take us to get us to where we need to be. They've learned a massive amount, and I keep stressing to the guys, it's we're right at the embryonic stage of this journey. So it's about us playing against ourselves every day we go out onto the ground. We've got benchmarks, we've got KPIs that we want to meet every game. So we're measuring ourselves on ourselves, and the progression in terms of those KPIs has been outstanding. So we're getting better and better. So the things that I like is the fact that how we're evolving our game. You know, our strategies around how we want to bowl, where we want to bowl, who we want to bowl, what our game plans are, how we looking to get people out. You know, the other words in batting the other night, we in game one we got stuck in the middle period, and we got stuck there because we didn't score square of the wicket early enough, and we had a long chat about that. And then to see the likes of Charith and the guys go out there and start sweeping right from the start, you know, that type of stuff shows me the evolution of the side. So there's so many good little signs that how the guys are evolving, how the guys are getting better, and how the guys want to where the guys want to take their games to. So it's a really good vibe. It's a really good environment at the moment. And I just want to say, you know, the admiration I have for these players, because they've been pushed from pillar and post in terms of our training. They've been, you know, the media's been on their backs, but each day these guys rock up wanting to become better. Their work ethic has been nothing short of amazing. And last night we got a little bit of a reward for all the efforts that these guys have put in. And we, as I said earlier, we're very realistic that we know we're near the finished article yet. We've got a hell of a lot of work to do, but to get a little reward is so nice, because these guys generally deserve every little bit that they can get at the moment. Yeah, look, he has been a lot of work, and I just want to say, Dushmanta Chamira has been outstanding, in my opinion. Talking to Roll Dravid actually the other night, Roll has been really impressed with him and his development. You know, so he's just getting better and better all the time. Yes, look, it would be nice to think of a rest. I said to him last night, he's got 12 overs to go. He's got 12 overs to go, and he can have 3 weeks off. So I'm hoping we can get 12 overs out of him, and then he can have a well-deserved break. But he has been our spearhead, and he's taken that responsibility and run with that responsibility and been extremely good with it. We address that every day, Rex, on the training ground, and that's one thing there's no compromise on. Our fielding standard has dropped off a little bit. We can see when we got a guy like Bandara on the field the other night, he was exceptional, and he just lifts that whole the whole vibe around the ground. So these guys know who they are. They know that they got to work, and those guys. That as I'm not going to mention names, but those players know exactly who they are. In every training session, they have to go and do a fielding session on their own with a fielding coach. So we upskilling them as best we can, and they under no illusions that that cricket now you can't be one-dimensional, and fielding is a non-negotiable. So they're working extremely hard at it at the moment. I just think it's new people coming into the side, Andrew. You know, so it's new people that have come into the side, not used to the tempo and the requirements at this level. And we did lose some really good fielders as well. You know, so Bandara played in the West Indies. He was fantastic. Patam Nasanka is a wonderful fielder as well. So you suddenly lose those two guys. Who were quite exceptional. Danushka Gunantalaka is a good fielder. Kusal Mendes is a very good fielder. So, you know, so we've lost those guys as well. So you lose a hub of fielders, and we're very precise with our planning, Andrew. So a guy like Kusal Mendes will walk on the ground and knows instinctively where he needs to go to. So he will find himself in those positions all the time. And I think you might have noticed it. You'll find Asan Bandara in the hot spots all the time. Short mid-wicket, long on, long, deep, long on, long off. He will get himself into those hot spots. So when you get a new personnel in your team, it takes some time to organize your field and to set your field up with the right guys in the right areas. So we found ourselves with that a little bit this series. But those fielders and those guys, they do extra work every day to try and get them to the required level. Yeah, again, that's a good call, Azam. We've identified three, so that whether that's Dasun, Shanaka, Wanindu Hasaranga, Chamika, Karunaratne, that's what we've got at the moment, you know. So and it was interesting. I had the same dilemma when I coached Pakistan. Everybody said we didn't have power hitters, and we didn't. But we've got to find a way of winning. That's applicable to the resources we've had, you know. So does that mean getting ourselves to 150, 160, but knowing that we can defend that in these conditions with our attacking spin and dynamic fielding, etc. So those are things that we'll sort out this series, so that when we hit South Africa and the 2 months before the World Cup, we've got a very, very settled 2020 team with everybody knowing exactly what their roles are. Power hitters, we work at it every session we go to. Guys go and do range hitting, and they're getting better. You know, we've worked on techniques. We're trying to open their front foot a little bit, so they almost swing like a golf club. But that, you know, and that also brings the offside into play. So we're looking at techniques. We're stripping everything back, and we're trying immensely hard to make the guys as powerful as they possibly can be. We haven't got the Hardik Pandyas and you know, sort of those guys, but we've got to make do with what we have and make do with the best of our resources. Well, look, it affects social media is a sin at the moment. You know, if you my advice to the guys is just stay off it. You know, it's an absolute sin, and the guys get absolutely hammered on it. You know, and some of the stuff that is written on there is just beyond comprehensible, to be honest. So there's only one way to handle it, and that's not to look. And you know, I'm a prime example of that. I was never on social media. I'm on Twitter now because it was something to do for me during lockdown last year. But I haven't been on it for ages because it's just it just annoys you, it frustrates you, and it gets you into a bad mood. And it also forces your judgment on issues. So my best advice is just get off it, because there's some idiots on there who think they know exactly what's going on when in fact they know nothing. Oh, look, ultimately, you know, it's you know, I never, yeah, you never throw anybody under the bus. I get on. I've got a great relationship with the selection panel. Promo leads a very good panel, in my opinion. You know, and I've worked with a lot of selection panels in my time, in my 12 years as an international coach, and this selection panel is as good as any I've worked with. So collectively, you know, we make the decisions. I did feel very sorry for Kusal Janath, because you know, I thought under tough circumstances, he did a really good job. So as I say, I did feel sorry for him, but you know, Dasun's come on and he's come in and he's done a wonderful job as well. He's been assertive when he's had to, and I see Dasun growing every day into this role. So you know, going forward, it is going to be Dasun, and Dasun will just get better and better. So I'm very comfortable where it's at. As I say, you know, Kusal Janath had done a nice job, in my opinion, as well.
For premium content and exclusive member benefits, subscribe to thepapare.com today.